And I mentioned Queens, so I want to get to them. The Mets are doing pretty good right now. I mean, they get Jacob deGrom back the other night. He looked great. He was on a pitch count, only threw 70 pitches, but I mean, he looked absolutely electric in his start. And he's going to come up for his next start with no pitch count. They win the game today 7-6, although they dropped the game last night on a walk-off. But Nick, I want to get your thoughts on this team of the Mets. I saw you shake your head when I said that the Mets look a little better than the Yanks. So how are you feeling about this Mets team right now?
To me, it's really just I think if I had to pick one guy, at least in the past few years, I won't go all time because that's you could argue for days, but give me Jacob deGrom on the mound in a one-game win. Absolutely, he's the MVP of this league, not just the National League or of this association, Major League Baseball. He is the best player in baseball, and I think really that's part of the reason why the Mets have been playing better because they've been able to rally together some pieces and some hits when they need them to muster up a win, whereas the Yanks haven't. Again, timing can be a lot of it, but I just think the Mets have also been, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they've been hit with some injuries as well.
Yes, they have
But
been for sure. Yeah.
I have to, I guess, talk badly, and I've had very high expectations for this guy, but Francisco Lindor has been just terrible is the easy way to put it. I was really thinking, obviously DeGrom is that guy in New York pitching. Well, Garrett Cole, of course, on the other side. But anyways, when the Mets brought in Lindor, I said, "Oh, there it is. There's that star player. Not a pitcher. There's that star position player who can really just be a leader for him." And he has not been that. Again, still young enough in the season where things could turn around. But I want to see more out of him because if he starts to play better, he's a very high energy guy, and I think it will just feed off into the other players. They'll all be rallying around each other. When I watch the Mets play, when they win, they have fun. They look like they're just having a really good time and are playing together as a team. And I think Lindor kind of has to be the start, the ground root of that. I don't even think the Mets and the Yankees, I don't think either of these teams have reached their full potentials for the season. I really do think if the Mets play hot baseball, especially in the playoffs, who knows what happens with DeGrom, they could rival, probably not beat. I think it's too much to say that, but they could put on a good series against a powerhouse like the Padres or the Dodgers. I hope because again, when New York sports are playing well, I just think all sports are better. But I want to see Lindor step up. That's my main thing I wanted to express in this segment because it's been enough time now where I think break out of your slump, step up, and let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fair to say that about Lindor. He's hitting 209 on the year, but he's been pretty good in these last 7 games. I mean, he's hitting 346, 9 for 26, at least in the last 7. I mean, before then, 100% right. He was struggling, but he's starting to heat up at least a little bit today. He looked good today, but he's definitely one of the better hitters for this team right now. I mean, talk about guys who are hot for the Mets: James McCann, Dominic Smith, Jonathan Villar, Pete Alonso, all hitting above 300 in the last 7 games. So I definitely think that there's a case to be made that this Mets lineup is better than we thought, and they also are maybe better than the Yankees, at least right now. So I'm in on this Mets team. I've seen a lot that leads me to believe they're the real deal. I mean, Fangraphs projects them 84% chance to make the playoffs, 70% chance to win that division. So for those reasons, they're looking really good. And also, they've dealt with injuries, but they've battled through them. I mean, Conforto, IL, hamstring injury. McNeil, IL, hamstring injury. Both guys might not come back till late June. Their best hitter in the month of April, Brandon Nimmo, he's on the IL with a nerve issue in his finger. He had some rehab games, had to be taken out. So he's a guy you're not sure when you're going to get back. But you get Lugo back. He pitched today. He looked pretty good. Alonso's been great since returning up from the IL. Pilar, I mean, he gets in the face and he's back in 10 days. I mean, this is a team that really seems to have the support of the fans. And through the injuries, they're still putting together a product in the field that's winning ball games. So I think if you're a supporter of the Mets, it's got to feel good about them. And although they only have one more win than the Braves, I think maybe 2 more wins, they've played 7, 8 less games than them because of the cancellation series, the one with the Nationals beginning of the year. They've lost a lot of games this year. So I think that's only going to help them when they get the healthy lineup and they start playing more, that they're going to be a problem in this division. I think the Braves might be the better team, but that doesn't mean the Mets don't steal a wild card spot. And then you have Jacob deGrom there to shut the door. I'm a believer in this Mets team, and I've been against the Mets for a while now. Every year it feels like the Mets fans on WFUV or even Mets fans I talk to are like, this is the year. And then they don't perform. And we heard that in 2020 and they missed the playoffs. We heard that in 2019, didn't happen. So this could be the one year because I'm actually seeing the product start to happen. And Jacob deGrom is virtually unhittable. Marcus Stroman's a legit 2, and the bullpen's been great for the Mets. So all these things starting to come together. If the lineup can stay hot, which is what you're seeing from them in the last 7 games, then I'm a believer in the Mets, and I like to think that they're going to at least have a chance to win this division. And if they get a wild card, I'm taking them 10 times out of 10 to win that game with deGrom on the mound.
Yeah, I honestly think they should win the division, and I guess that leads right to my next point. If you look at both the NL and AL East, the NL East is very even in competition, but I don't think it's as powerful, I guess is the maybe the word I was looking for, as the AL East is. The AL East has the Yankees, who are supposed to be a juggernaut, and they're not right now. The Rays have been playing spectacular. The Blue Jays have been picking it up, and of course the Red Sox have been great all year. There's only one team that's kind of in the gutter in the AL East, being the Orioles, so it's a toss-up out there in the AL East. NL East, I agree with the same thing, but I think the Mets are the best team in the NL East. Maybe not no question, but I think it's very fair to say that, especially because the Braves were my high hope, I guess, in the NL East. But they were not really that great so far, and that's kind of why I think the Mets, I don't know the record off the top of my head, but it's very even out there, and the Mets also have not played as many games as I believe the Phillies, who are in second place, which means they can potentially rally, stay hot, and win more games. And then if you go back to the wild card point, like you said, no question they win. They're like I said before, give me deGrom for one game. That's what the wild card is for. That, I think, the wild card round is arguably my favorite part of baseball. Of course, outside the World Series, because it's just that one game means just so much, which is why I also like the NBA play-in tournament. A little off topic there, but I really do think, I think the Mets have an very easy, likely chance to win the NL East. They just got to keep playing, find the groove.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. And I think when deGrom's healthy and if he's pitching, every time out he could give you 7-8 innings and 2-3 hit ball. When I watch deGrom pitch, it's like he might throw a perfect game today. It's every time. He was perfect through 4 the other night, and I go to my brother. And I'm like, he could throw a perfect game tonight. Obviously, he got taken out pitch count, but regardless, he's throwing 102. He started the game 10 straight fastballs over 100 miles per hour. That's unheard of. So he's a guy that's obviously going to be the best pitcher in baseball throughout the entire season. So if he's healthy and he's on the mound, that's going to be killer for the Mets. And then you add in Stroman and their bullpen. The pitching's there, and if the hitting, like I said, stays hot, they're a serious problem.